Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. And thank you, Danielle, and everybody else at the association for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to get in front of your members. One of the reasons I started these webinars is because I don't like to waste time and I don't like to see people waste time. So if I can help you guys be more productive and do things that are actually going to bring you results, then that makes me very happy. So welcome to Step Into Your Brand. We're going to talk about developing your personal brand and increasing productivity on social media, but also off of social media as well. So the agenda, we're going to talk about defining your niche, strategies for managing your time, how to choose the right social media platforms, how to turn your audience into your best marketing channel, content ideas for connecting with your audience on a deeper level, and best practices for positioning yourself as the go-to agent in the marketplace. Now, David, I remember you saying an hour, but I think I had spoken to Danielle about an hour and a half with a half an hour of Q&A. Is that still okay, or do we need to keep it at an hour? All right, I can't hear you, so we'll just continue. So a couple of housekeeping things. We're going to try to get to as many questions as possible at the end, but I want you all to know that if we do not get to your question, my contact info will be at the end slide. So please do email me and I will respond to every single person because it's important. Another thing is this will be recorded and I will send Danielle my slides as a PDF so you guys will have something to reference afterwards. All right, so let's dive right in. So branding versus personal branding. I know a lot of people have heard branding, some have heard personal branding. You may not know the difference. So branding is creating a distinct identity for your business in the mind of your ideal audience. Your logo, your font, your brand colors, things like that. Personal branding is the art of positioning yourself as a brand and providing your value to the world. There's a lot of elements to a personal brand, and we're not going to cover every single one, but we're going to touch on the most important ones so that you can work on creating a cohesive personal brand that brings you results. So branding is simply the what you do. Personal branding is how you do it and the value you bring the consumer. Okay, so the 5 P's of personal branding. First is your purpose. Whatever we do in this world, we have to have a purpose, right? We all have a reason why we're in real estate. We all have a reason for why we market ourselves and so forth. So it's important for you to be clear on what is your purpose of personal branding. Is it to position yourself as an expert in a certain niche? Is it to, get referrals, to get more business, just to build community and have friends? Define your purpose and be very clear on that, because that will be at the forefront of your strategy. Promise. What's your promise to the consumer? What value do you bring to the consumer? So this is a little bit of self-reflection, right? So we want to think about, what do I really bring to the table and how is it going to benefit the people? Your presence, very important. We all know in real estate, our presence is paramount. From our bio photos to how we show up to appointments, how we host open houses, everything speaks to our personal brand. So we have to be very cognizant of our presence. If we're using a photo from 20 years ago and we look nothing like that today, what kind of experience are you providing the customer? Your personality, and this is one of the most important things. Everybody here has a unique personality. So that personality should shine because your personality is one of the big things that's going to attract people to you and also help you build your community on and offline. We're not going to work with everybody in real estate. It's just a fact. We are going to work with people who respect us, like what we have to say, and our professionalism, but also relate to us. Relatability is a huge piece of that. So if you're, an avid baker, or you like to travel, or you love gardening, or you have other hobbies and things. Incorporate that into your personal brand. If you're quirky, funny, serious, whatever you are, let your personality shine, because that's what's going to help attract people to you. And positioning, probably one of the most important elements here. How you position yourself. We can say that we're experts in a certain field or a niche or whatever, but we need to walk that talk. So, saying is not enough. How we position ourselves is going to make the difference. And we're going to talk a lot about that today in this webinar. So from this day forward, I want you to think about your marketing and, your personal brand as designing a customer experience. And everything that you see on the screen here is all part of your customer experience. Your website, your email signature, your visual branding, your network, people around you, your service, what you provide, the messaging, the way you speak, what your message says to people, your print materials, and of course, your skills. So from this day forward, think about customer experience with every element of your personal brand and everything that you put out into the world, because it's really not about us. Our personal brand, as much as you may think it's about us, it's really about the consumer and the people whom we're trying to attract, right? So we want to make sure that we're providing them the best possible experience, because people remember experiences more than anything. And I'm sure many of you can relate. You go to a restaurant, or you go to a business, you look at the experience and how you were treated and every little touch point within that, and you either enjoy it or you don't. You write a review or you don't. So that we're providing the same sort of experience, and we want people to talk about our business. So if you provide an exceptional experience consistently, people will talk about your business, and you don't have to work as hard to promote your business, because you've got brand evangelists around you who are going to help refer you and talk about your business. And we all know that at a certain point in our real estate career, 75% of our business is most likely going to come from referrals. I also want you to think less about the technology and more about the psychology. I meet people all the time who get hung up on the technology, and it prevents them from putting themselves out there to the world when they've got valuable things to say and can really succeed at this. So less about the technology. You can figure out the technology by fiddling around, by maybe taking a class, and just being active on these platforms and with these technology. Just experiment. But it's the psychology that's 50% of the battle. What to do, how to do it, and why, most importantly, we're doing the things that we do. If you master this, you will succeed, and learning the technology will come. But before we do anything, we want to stop, and we want to do an audit of all our online platforms and even our offline stuff, your direct mail pieces, your website, social media platforms, things like that. Google yourself and look at yourself through the eyes of a potential buyer. Okay. When you Google yourself, all the platforms you're on should come on, from realtor.com to Zillow to, all the real estate related sites, social media platforms, your website, things like that. Look at what's out there, and, go to these platforms if you haven't visited in a while, and just make sure that, you review your bios, all the information, the content that you have, any outbound links and things like that. Remember, we're providing an experience, so we want to make sure that we've got a cohesive bio on all platforms. I've conducted audits for real estate agents, and oftentimes I'll find parts of a good bio on one platform, elements on another, and it's not cohesive. So we want to make sure we have that one cohesive bio across all platforms, because we never know where people are going to find us, right? So you may have certain elements on one, and they may not be impressed, but your killer bio is on another platform. The information, maybe things have changed. Maybe you got a designation, maybe you've changed companies, whatever it is. Just make sure all your information is up to date and it's compelling. And the content that you're posting, especially on Instagram. Instagram's one of the few platforms where when you go to someone's profile, you've got a feed and you can see all their content just by scrolling and it's right in front of you. It's okay to delete things that don't serve you anymore if you want to, take your personal brand in a different direction, or, you've got expired content on there like open houses and things like that. It's okay to leave a couple of those to show potential sellers and other people what types of properties that you represent, but you don't want to have a feed full of expired content. You want it to be sort of evergreen, and evergreen means it doesn't really expire. Whenever they go and come across this content, it's always relevant. So maybe it's an informational piece that you put out there about the process in real estate, a video you created, things like that. So you want to have a good mix. So it's okay to delete things that are not serving you or just, aren't really necessary anymore. Outbound links. So if you're linking from your website and other places to, Realtor or Zillow or other platforms, and the links don't work, again, that affects the consumer's experience. So you always want to make sure every link that you provide and every button that you have always works, and it's a seamless experience. Then you want to make improvements. If you don't have a cohesive bio, work on that. It's one of the most important things that you'll have out there about you, because it's what people are going to read. And then the other cool thing about your bio is that it can become a script for a video. And we're going to talk about that down the road here. Fix any errors, delete any abandoned profiles. You don't need to be on every single social media platform. I know people tell you need to be everywhere, but trying to maintain a presence on every social media platform today is not going to work. It's not sustainable. So I'm going to release that pressure valve now and let you know you don't need to be on every social platform, because if you are not going to maintain a presence and invest the time that you need to build a presence and following on each individual platform, it's going to be a waste of your time. So pick a platform or two that works for you, that you're comfortable with. Start there. And if you feel like adding in some other platforms down the road, then that's fantastic. Okay, so while you're doing this, your profile photo is critical. It's one of the first things that people are going to see along with your bio. So there's a website called photofeeler.com. And PhotoFeeler is a community where you can upload a photo in three categories: social, business, and dating. And people can vote on your profile, a photo, and give you their opinion of what your photo says to them. And the categories for social, it's confident, authentic, and fun. So on the left, this photo got 390 votes, and 7.5 out of 10 felt it was a confident photo, 7.6 thought it was authentic, and 6.8 thought it was fun. To the right, that one had 53 votes, 8.1 felt confident, 8.6 authentic, and 7.0 fun. This is really good experiment because, we may think we have a great photo, but perception is everything. So we want to get the public's opinion. What does our photo say to us? Do we have our arms crossed? Arms crossed typically mean that you're kind of closed off. Are you stoic? Are you very serious? That may tell people you're not really approachable. So we want to be careful, and we want to get other people's feedback on what our photo is saying. So photofeeler.com. I will make sure that you guys get that link in my presentation notes so that you can go and experiment. And you get karma points. So if you vote on other people's, you get free points for people to vote on yours. But you can also get a paid subscription if you want and expedite the process. So it's totally up to you. So marketing isn't about closing a sale. And I want us all to think about that, because a lot of times people say, I need to market myself. I need more money. I need to get more business. I need to market myself. I need to market myself. Marketing is really about opening a relationship. And then as we develop that relationship and build credibility and help people get to know us online through our content and through our personality and our presence, that's when things start to happen. It's not enough for us to say, I'm a professional, I've been in the business 20 years, you should work with me. Okay, that's great. But now you need to walk that talk. So I need to see that from the content you're posting. I need to see that from, following you and building that relationship with you. So marketing isn't about closing a sale, it's about opening a relationship. And the relationship piece, I call it relationship marketing, goes hand in hand with your customer experience, right? So it's all starting to tie together. Now, if you're trying to market to everybody and you're standing on the top of a mountain trying to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody. This is why it's important to specialize, to find yourself a niche. And many people say, well, I'm scared to specialize because I don't want to pigeonhole myself and lose business. I promise you, you will not lose business by specializing. Focusing on a niche and positioning yourself in a niche is so much easier than trying to position yourself as a go-to person for everything real estate. You can't do it. It's just all over the place. And it's more fun when you're focused on one goal, one niche, and that niche is built up, of your skills and the value that you bring to people, so that you can do a little self-reflection and easily determine your niche. So think about what do I want to be known for? Do I want to be a relocation specialist? Do I want to be a foreclosure expert? Do I want to, work with investors? Do I just want to work with first-time home buyers or, seniors or just sellers? What is it that you want to be known for? And that will help shape your niche. Your skills will play into this, right? So think about that question. There's going to be a lot of self-reflection here. And when you get the PDF of this, by all means, print it out, write on it, use it as a worksheet to help you brainstorm. Because I promise you, if you put a plan together and you work through this stuff and do this correctly, you won't have to go back to basics down the road and wish you did from the beginning. So I want to introduce you to Ben Caballero. Ben Caballero is the founder and CEO of HomesUSA.com. He is the three-time and current Guinness World Record title holder for the most annual home sale transactions through MLS by an individual sell-side real estate agent, and the number one ranked individual real estate agent in the US by Real Trends since 2013. Now, why do you think this guy is so successful? He attributes it to one thing, and that is specialization. In his own words, specialists dominate all professions from ditch digging to rocket scientists. I can't overstate its importance to success in any profession. Real estate has many areas in which agents can specialize. I choose to be a corporate specialist, and he's got personal relationships with about 60 builders. I mean, this guy sold, I want to say it was like 6,500 properties this past year. I mean, I get excited with 20 closings. I don't know if I could handle the excitement with 6,500 closings. So this goes to show you that specialization is going to take you farther than trying to be something to everybody. Another great way to position yourself is by getting designations. I got my ABR and my green designation, and when I got them, I made a big deal out of it. Even though it may not be the biggest deal for some, we've just furthered our education. We took an exam. It's a commitment to excellence, right? And if we make a big deal out of it and help the public understand what these designations mean, then they'll make a big deal out of it as well. Spell out your designations. Most people don't know what an ABR is, so call it an accredited buyer representative. I actually had a guy find me online because he was specifically looking for an accredited buyer representative. It only happened once, but for me, I feel it was worth it getting that designation just for that. And he wound up buying a $2 million property. So that was awesome. So these designations can help you position yourselves, improve your skills, and help you find your niche. They just strengthen it. Let the local press know about it, little magazines, do mailings to your sphere of influence. Great news, I just got this, and this is what it means to you, and they'll make a big deal out of it. So celebrate these designations and use them in your personal brand. So, talking about standing out, I want to give you an example of something that is generalized and how, by just tweaking it a tiny bit, it's more memorable. So, this is Reedsy. They're a creative hub for anyone and everyone. We can help you with your creative endeavor. That doesn't really give you much information, very general. But when we change it to this, a creative hub for over 150 authors. We can help any author with their literary endeavor. We know exactly who they're speaking to, and they're going to attract authors. So, this is how we want to move away from generalization to specificity. Now, we've all seen these commercials, and you may look at them as just regular car insurance commercials and think they're funny, and we all do. And they're funny for a reason. What these car insurance companies have done is they've taken something that is typically boring, car insurance, and they've made it memorable. I don't know how many of you, but I often find myself reciting the lines from many of these, and there's even a book for Dr. Rick up in the upper right corner. They made a book on teaching people how to not be like their parents. Brilliant. And so these guys took a boring product and make it memorable by making you laugh. This is the experience that they've created. So now when you need insurance, one of these companies is going to be top of mind. I guarantee it. So think about how you can make your experience memorable and stay top of mind for people. So everybody should have a personal brand statement. And it's simply, what are the benefits and outcomes of working with you? And in the next slide, here's a basic template for how you can fill in yours. I help who, benefit, and what's the outcome of working with you? So here are three examples. So this is mine. I help real estate agents and small business owners stand out in the marketplace and increase productivity. You know who, you know what, the benefit, and then the outcome. Business coach for women ready to think differently to grow their business and unlock more time and profit in as little as 3 months. Now, who doesn't want to grow their business, have more free time, and gain more profit in a short amount of time? I don't know. I do. And then this was mine in real estate. I help homeowners maximize their profits and transition smoothly into their next chapter. Okay. So think about yours. And, when you speak to people about your business, whether you go to a networking event, hey, so what do you do? Hi, I'm Jim. I help homeowners maximize their profits and transition smoothly into their next chapter, and talk about how you do it. It's just a clear and concise way to convey your value to people. Oftentimes, I go to a networking event, and I'm sure many of you have, where somebody will stand up and their 30-second elevator pitch is disjointed. They're all over the place. They're umming and they're erring. The easier you make it for people to talk about your business, the easier it is for them to refer you and when they and speak about it when they're talking to somebody. So you want to be clear, concise, to make it easier for people to talk about your business. So here's one I found on Instagram. This guy's great. I help buyers find their dream home and homeowners sell for more. All buyers want a dream home and all homeowners want to sell for more. So he's also got his location and that he's an, Austin, Texas food lover. Ah, everybody loves food. He's building community around his food. And a lot of his content were restaurant reviews and things like that. So again, incorporate things that you love so that you can build community around your common interest. And that's that relatability piece that I was talking about. And then the one below, I help service providers set themselves up for success with legal templates and training. 10 years of legal experience, ex New York City big law copywriter, and then more goodies. Boom. So it's very informative. And on Instagram, you only have a certain amount of characters to really nail your benefits. And this benefit statement that I gave you before this slide is perfect for the Instagram profile. So another part of your personal brand is your tone of voice. So how you talk. Are you funny? Are you quirky? Are you, loud? You know, it's important for you to stay true to your tone. Your tone is your emotional inflection, and it changes with each situation. Your voice is your personality, right? So here's a couple of examples. An economically priced hotel located in the city center. Pretty straightforward, dry, easy on the wallet. This hotel enjoys having a city on its doorstep. A little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. And then the last one, this cheapest chips hotel gives you a night shut eye, slap bang in the city. So you can see these are three different ways of saying the same thing. So find your tone of voice and be okay with that. A lot of times people think, oh, we have to put on a certain voice when we're dealing with certain people. No, just be who you are. Be professional, but be who you are, especially with writing. People tend to write with their professional voice. They don't, and their writing voice, they don't write with their speaking voice. So think about that when you're writing a listing description or a bio or whatever. Talk to your people and just the way you would naturally. If you wouldn't use certain words in descriptions and things like that, don't use them. I mean, if you wouldn't normally use them when you speak, don't use them in your descriptions. Like someone said to me once, "Oh, there's lots of trees for your bucolic enjoyment." And I said, "Would you say that to somebody in person?" They're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, why would you write it?" And they laughed and they were like, "You're right." So write like you speak and embrace your tone. So now we're going to talk about social media, the one that, everybody is dying to get to. There's so many platforms. Again, I mentioned that you can pick one, maybe two that you're really comfortable with. If you're an expert and you've got enough time to maintain a real estate business and be on every platform, then you're ahead of the game and, congratulations. But if you're not, pick one that you love and own it and build your community. And then if you want to move on, you can. So, words to post by. You are responsible for everything you post, and everything you post will be a reflection of you. So, keep that in mind. Whatever you post on social media, whether you think it's private or not, there aren't many platforms now where you can completely make your profile private. You know, Facebook, your personal profile, you have privacy controls, things like that. Instagram, you can create select groups now to show content to and in stories as well. But just be careful what you put out there because you never know what people are going to see. Even on your personal, two things I would avoid in business is talking about politics and talking about vaccines. I've seen so many people, especially during the pandemic, get into so much trouble and draw so much negative attention to their profile. It's okay to have your beliefs. And if you are really passionate about sharing them, try to make it to a select audience that is okay with that. But you would never want somebody to judge you and, be scared off by, your opinion, especially if you're trying to grow your business online. So just be careful what you put out there. And then your personal brand is the accumulated impression you leave on people. Building a presence on the right social networks. You don't need to be on every platform, which we talked about, including jumping on the newest, hottest app just because everyone else is. And I'm sure we've all been there. We go to a convention and we get in front of a speaker and the speaker's like, you need to be on here. If you're not on here, you're losing out. And TikTok is one of those platforms. And, it's important to understand these platforms before you just jump onto them. You don't necessarily need to be on TikTok. Your audience needs to be there, right? So before you open a new account, ask yourself, does my audience spend time here? Understand the demographics and the age groups that are typically on these platforms. Understand how these platforms are used. TikTok is perfect for informational, educational products and also humor. So if you can manage to weave humor into your content, your informational content, you've got a home run. So, if you're willing to do that type of content and create those videos, then TikTok could work for you. But you have to make sure that your desired audience is there. And that's a big part of it. Do I or my team have the bandwidth to create relevant content for a new platform? Content creation is one of the things that bogs a lot of people down. So if you don't have the bandwidth to create content, then again, work with one platform and think about your content each month. And we're going to talk more about that down the road. Um, One thing I will say is I am not a fan of the companies that say, we'll create content for you and post this content on your profiles for you for 150 a month. I don't recommend that at all. And the reason I don't recommend it is that content is really not unique to you. It's not unique to your community. It's duplicated, triplicated, quadrupled across the web. And there's other people sharing this same content over and over. And a lot of the times it's generic. You know your audience, you know your local business, you know your industry best. So it's best that you create content from your perspective and your point of view and use real photos as often as possible. Stock photos are a huge no-no on social media. The platforms don't like them. They know their stock photos. They know when photos have been doctored by Adobe. They know when things are created by AI. So just avoid it. Use real photos. People connect with those and they tell a better story. And then does the purpose and tone of this platform fit your brand? So that's something you want to think about. So understanding the tone and usage of each platform. So Instagram, great for short and long form video, live streaming. Things that perform really well are fitness, fashion, products, thought leadership, inspirational content, educational, behind the scenes, a day in the life of, and entertainment. So you can think about this when you're putting your strategy together. And if you're using the platform, how can you tie some of this in? Maybe you can do videos, market reports, things like that. But if you do create this content, make sure it's specific to your market and what you're doing. Try not to generalize about national statistics, talk about Syracuse statistics or wherever you're based. LinkedIn. LinkedIn has grown beautifully over the past couple years. LinkedIn is an incredible platform now, and it's perfect for networking. It's perfect for thought leadership, and it's great for you guys to build your referral networks around the country. So definitely be on LinkedIn. You know, they've got an article platform where you can write articles. They've got this new feature called collaborative articles, where you can be asked to contribute your perspective on articles, and you're collaborating with other professionals that they've selected. It's a really cool feature. So if you haven't experienced it yet, check it out. It's on LinkedIn. Um, Company culture. If you've got a brokerage, celebrate your company culture, achievements, successes, things like that. What it's like to work for your company. You can post jobs and share your success and fail stories. Talk about, your struggles getting into real estate maybe, and, how you prevailed and where you guys are now, and talk about the successes to inspire other people, especially if you're positioning yourself as a leader. Provide informational content, whatever that is based on your niche. Listicles, top 10 things to do, when preparing the home for market, but not general things. Try to put creative things out there that not everybody else is putting out there. Some creative things that you've given sellers to do to prepare for their home for the market, things like that. And they also have audio rooms, which is kind of like Clubhouse, and also Twitter has those now, where it's like live audio. Facebook, we all know, short and long form video, live streaming, memes, curated and social content, and groups work the best. Groups is one of my favorites, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. If you're not using groups on Facebook, I don't even really post on my Facebook anymore. I've been on Facebook since 2006, and I kind of just moved on from it. But I'm active in groups, and they're the greatest way to build community on Facebook and be part of something based on your interests and things like that. I often say moms groups are some of the most powerful groups out there, because it's just a lot of times moms are the decision makers, and they're happy to share products and services that they love and opinions and things like that. And I'm a member of a mom's group, and it just blows my mind what goes on in there and the business that people do in that group by referrals. It's really, really powerful stuff. So TikTok, short and long form video. They introduced long form video not too long ago, up to 10 minutes. Jury's still out on how that's going to do. It it was built around short form video. So some people are experimenting with the longer form and it could work, but short form works best. Entertainment, products, services, educational ads. Their ad platform is amazing. Discovery, Gen Z and Gen X, I'm sorry, Gen Z are using TikTok like a Google search engine to discover products and services. So think about that with a lot of these platforms. Instagram, the same thing. People go there to research products and things like that. And in fact, TikTok has a really cool list of TikTok made me buy it. And every year it comes out and it's products that went viral on TikTok that people can shop from. And I've bought a couple of things that were on it. Not all of it's great, but that's how powerful TikTok is and social media in general. TikTok is not a social platform. They consider themselves to be a media company. And that is where all these social platforms are going. They're starting to move away from friends and family, and you're starting to see more suggested content, more AI generated suggestions in your feeds, which annoys some people, but it's getting better and better. And why do they do this? Because they're trying to create a personalized experience for everybody. There's that word again, personalized experience. This is what we're creating for our people. So the benefit of having the algorithms recommend content is if you create an awesome video or an awesome piece of content, they could suggest that to other people. And you could get a lot more exposure than you would normally just posting it on your profile. So it's got its good and bad elements, but they're becoming more about the media, and they're rewarding content creators more and more. So if you're not creating unique content that keeps people coming back to the platform, staying on the platform, then social media is going to be a challenge for you. Twitter, X, news, blogs, memes, conversation, live streaming, and they also have their audio rooms. They're going through a lot of growing pains and struggles. So, if you choose to use it, great. If you don't, you move on. And YouTube. YouTube is super important because Google owns YouTube, and it is the second largest search engine in the world. Second largest. The short form video on YouTube, and they're called shorts. They're just like TikToks or stories or reels. They're up to a minute long, and they get 70 billion views daily. 70 billion views daily. So that is how much short form video that people are consuming. So if you are not working with video, it is time to experiment. If you are working with video, continue doing it, create that unique content, create that connection with your audience, and you will be rewarded not only by growing a community, but by these platforms as well. So something really important to think about. And if you are creating video for these platforms, consider creating it in a vertical orientation, because that is, we're in a mobile first world, and more than 50% of people are logging on their mobile device. And when you're going through your feed, that video looks appropriate there and it takes up the full screen. So you want it to look good. Okay, so that's video. So one video that every business needs is an about me video. And the formula is simple: who you are, what you do, who you help, how you do it, what makes you unique, and your call to action. And the next slide, I am going to show you my an example of my about me video. And I have to just stop because I have to make sure that I am sharing it with the volume. Okay, share with sound. All right, one sec. Can you all see that? Okay. Hi there, I'm Christopher Pagli, a personal branding and productivity coach who helps real estate agents and small business owners
Chris,
stand
I
out
can't see it.
and increase Oh, you can't?
No.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And, I don't know if I told you, but you can go a little over an hour, that's totally fine.
Okay, super duper. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay, can we see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Hi there, I'm Christopher Pagli, a personal branding and productivity coach who helps real estate agents and small business owners stand out in the marketplace and increase productivity. I have more than 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and customer service, ranging from creating marketing plans for major and independent recording artists to selling real estate in New York and Maine. Through expert guidance and support, you'll learn to clarify your brand messaging, be an authority in your marketplace through blogs, video, social media posts, and digital advertising, and focus on relationship marketing to turn your customers into brand evangelists. We can work together one on one or in a group setting. I can also customize a workshop for groups of 3 or more at your convenience. Don't forget to ask me about my life changing needs assessment. My core philosophy on personal branding is this: everything I put out into the world serves one purpose: to provide the consumer with value. Working with me, you get real world experience, not textbook advice. Okay. So there you go. So that is a clear, concise about me video. And I used the elements that I had listed prior to it. So use that as a worksheet. Write, write it in and then practice it. Oftentimes your bio will become your script. You can just maybe, make it a little bit more concise and share that. But people should get to know you. And this video can live on your website, you can post it on social media, things like that. And people enjoy watching videos. It's a low pressure way for them to get to know you and could lead to a conversation. So, getting started with video, you must have some sort of plan. What's your purpose? Why am I creating this video? And what's my goal with it? Do some research. Research the topic or, whatever you want to speak about and put together some key talking points. You want to write a script. Now, people often get hung up in the script writing process. When I say script, I don't mean reading from it word by word. It's more of a collection of your thoughts. And if you do this in advance and you think about what you want to say, you have your opening, you have your key talking points, you have your call to action, and you have a closing. Done. It's a very simple element. So you can write that down, practice it, and get comfortable with it so that when you hit record, you don't sound scripted. It sounds more natural. Focus on a single message. Don't try to talk about too many things in the video. If it's a market report about homes in a certain zip code, then keep it that simple and talk about that specific zip code. If you start talking about too many other things, you could go all over the place and lose track. Make the video for one person. Think about one person, and that could be your ideal customer. It could be your friend Jim or Mary from next door. It could be a friend from high school. Whoever it is, make that video for one person and use the words you and your in there to personalize the video. Practice, practice, practice. I can't say this enough. Quick story. In 2016, when I launched my consulting and coaching business, I had no experience recording videos. I locked myself in the house for a whole weekend, forfeited a trip to California with my family, and I recorded 350 videos. I stood in front of the camera. I laughed at myself. I embraced the things I didn't like about myself, and I just went with it. And I refined my message and over and over and over. And now I'm at the point where video is the number one thing that I teach. And I only got there because I started somewhere and I just was consistent and I followed these steps on a consistent basis. People get hung up on how they look, how they sound, whatever. Most people do not care about that. When they're seeking information, all they care about is the value and getting answers that they want. And here's a last example. When a customer comes into your real estate office and a walk-in, if you get those, and says, "Hi, I'm looking at buying a multifamily home. Can you tell me what's going on in the market?" Do you freak out and run into the bathroom and say, I can't do this? Oh, I don't like my hair. I don't like, no, you stand there professionally, you answer them, and you hopefully gain their business. Well, it's the same thing with a video. We're just doing it in front of a device. So maybe you put a picture on top of the camera, whatever it is to help you get comfortable, you can do it because you do it every day in business. Okay. So when we're creating videos and content, we want to be somewhat unique. We don't want to be like Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram kind of floundered and lost themselves the past few years because they were copying every other platform, stealing features and things like that, trying to, make their platforms the go-to place and close these other businesses down. They all kind of take from each other, but Facebook and Instagram, it was the worst. And then they lost themselves a bit, and TikTok starting to eclipse Instagram. And it has in many ways, in my opinion. So you want to try to be unique and create content and things that are true to you, your personal brand, for your community, your customers. Content is king and engagement is queen. Content will always be king. It's going to be one of the most important drivers of traffic to websites, social platforms, things like that. Engagement is where the magic happens. I actually nowadays engage much more than I post. Getting involved in these groups and communities online, in the comments on people's posts, it's really where the magic happens. Conversations happen, you build relationships that way. Content, so information is simply passing along content from others. Insights are your own takes on what is going on in your industry in the world. You're adding your view. Your perspective is what differentiates you from others doing the same thing. Share it often. Share your experiences. If a lot of times people will share, oh, the market's hot, so many amount of homes sold or whatever. If you're looking to buy, give me a call. It's not enough. Talk about what's going on in the field. Maybe share an experience, a story. You bid on a property and there were 9 offers and your buyer prevailed. How did you do it? Talk about that because that type of content is going to inspire potential buyers getting into your market. And it's also going to show your expertise at the same time. So not only could potential buyers be interested in working with you, potential sellers, by the way you handled this, could be interested in working with you as well. Remember, we're thinking about the experience that we're providing. We don't know who we're going to attract, so we want to provide the best possible experience. So your content strategy should be a mix of informative, educational, authoritative, and entertaining. Everybody has the ability to be funny or be creative. So tap into yours and figure out how you can put an entertaining spin on something that may not be that exciting, like a market report or, something else. Think about the insurance companies. If you say, oh, this can't be done, it can. They are a prime example of it. Social media posts are great for creating awareness. They kind of start a conversation, meaning you post, brings awareness, but then what? What happens after that? Articles and podcasts build credibility, and then videos increase engagement. So, if you're not working with video, you really it's time that you consider it and try to work through some of the things that are preventing you from getting started. So a lot of times content, it's a lot of people don't know how to find content ideas, but it's all around us. Typically, content for me comes from a question. Somebody will ask me a question. And in fact, this webinar started from a question. Somebody asked me, how do I build my personal brand in real estate? It's like, wow. So as I'm answering it, I'm like, wait a minute, I can turn this into, a social media post. And then I turned that social media post into a blog post because I expanded upon the topic. And then I made a video from that. It became my video script. And then I created a direct mail piece for it. And then this webinar. So one question led to all these different avenues by just providing information. So think about the frequently asked questions that people ask you on a regular basis. Those are your best content ideas because there's a real world need for this and people want answers. Tap into your community online. What are these people talking about? What are people asking for? What do they want to know? Make that content because sometimes we think, oh, I've got great content idea. And then it doesn't perform well, or you're not getting a lot of engagement or a good response because you thought it was great. It may not be great to other people. So, your engagement strategy, and this is really important, more important to me than a posting strategy. Be a connector, grow your network, grow your business. Network with people, whether it be other industry providers, whether it be, BNI or what other networking groups you may be in. Become a good networker because the more people you know, the more opportunities you have to grow. Add new connections daily and personalize your requests. Don't just send a LinkedIn request to somebody. Send a little note. Hey, Jim, I noticed your profile. We have such and such friend in common, or oh, I went to that college, or I enjoy that topic or line of work. I saw your post. Whatever it is, it just sets the tone for a relationship. Respond to comments, messages, and reviews, positive or negative. Always respond to comments and messages. A no response is a response, and it's not a good one. What you want to do is if someone comments on one of your social media posts, like it and respond to it. These little tips, points of engagement also help the algorithm see that there's something happening and you could get more organic distribution on the platform. Plus, it shows the person that wrote it that you value them and you care. Reviews, the same thing. If someone writes a positive review, reply, oh, thank you so much. It was great working with you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If they write a negative review, do not get into back and forth with them or negativity. Tell them you hear them and try to move that offline and see if you can come to a solution with them and work through it. But you don't want people who come across these posts or these reviews to see you, getting into it with other people in a negative way because it's not a good look for you. Reviews are so important nowadays that 90% of people treat them as they would referrals from friends and family. So reviews are incredibly important. And they're awesome because they do the selling for us. We have to promote less if we've got lots of great reviews. So people, if they like what they see when they find us online or they like what we have to say, guess what? They're going to click through, they're going to learn about you, they might go to your website, they might read some reviews, and they'll get the full experience. So it's a really important thing. Leave thoughtful comments on posts, 5 to 10 posts a daily. So, if you're surfing social media and you see things that inspire you that you really like, leave a thoughtful comment. Let them know, that why you liked it and things like that. Thoughtful comments, really start a conversation and open it up for a relationship and engagement. And again, the engagement is what's really going to bring about that relationship. And then look for opportunities in groups. So here are two groups. I'm involved in one, the International Network of Elite Real Estate Professionals. And in each group, there is a little magnifying glass. It's a search. You can search within that group for topics. So on the right side is the moms group that I'm talking about. And when you search in there, say you're looking for a plumber, say you're looking for, whatever, you can put plumber in the search in the group, and all the posts related to that topic will come up. So if someone says, they're looking for a real estate agent, you put real estate agent in there, all these posts come up. You're going to find people are asking questions about real estate, about certain markets. And, you might be able to chime in on those posts. You don't want to just jam your business card at them. You want to look at the post and see, can I add any value to this? Or can I throw my hat in the ring? And be part of that community and build your relationships that way. These groups are super powerful. And I've seen so many people do really well business wise from them. So consider that. Before we talked about, focus less on the technology and more about the psychology. And it's important to understand why people share, right? And some of the reasons people share is that it's educational or informative. Makes them feel like insiders. If you can make your community feel special or your followers feel special, make them feel like insiders, give them something that they're not getting elsewhere. Maybe you're working with a builder or an investor and they're rehabbing a short sale property. You can show the before and after and then, take them through that journey of that transformation. Make them feel like insiders. Give them an inside look on that property, and you'll build community. Things, other reasons is it helps them look good in the eyes of others. I think we've all shared things on social media that make us look good. We want to be the bearer of good news, or, we find something really cool. We want to send it to somebody and, let them know that, check this out. And it came from us. So it makes us look good in the eyes of others, or something helpful. Maybe we found something that, somebody's really in need of, and, we saved the day. Things like that. People want to better the lives of others. Again, when it has a connection to them as an individual, be it political, emotional, cute, or funny. I think we've all shared things because, it triggers this in us, this sort of response. So when you're creating your content, think about this as well. So it's really important to understand why people share. And if you create stuff that is shareable, you won't have to tell people to share it. You won't have to tell people to like and comment. They will do it. So it all starts with the content that you create. Um, this is something simple that if you're having a hard time organizing your content and getting, figuring out what you're going to post, when you're going to post it, you can print out a little calendar. You can even use one just like this. I found it online. And then Sundays were my content creation day. I would record videos. I would maybe write a blog post, do whatever. And then during the week, I would post about this content in various different ways and things like that. And then also engage as well. You do what you can. If you're incredibly busy, set aside some time like you would if you were to time block to cold call or ring doorbells or whatever you will do in your business. It's really important to do this. And the other thing is knowing that you set aside the time and knowing that you've done it takes the pressure of having to constantly try to find things to post. I used to record 2 videos every Sunday, did that 4 times a month. I had 8 videos in the bank. If I posted 1 video a week, I got 2 months worth of content. And if I keep doing that, I'm always ahead of the game. So in this business, it's important to kind of think that way. But you also want to leave some room for spontaneity in social media. That's part of the beauty of it, sharing things on the fly. We don't want to plan everything. We want to share things that are happening in the moment and things like that, mixed in with some stuff that we plan. I'm going to introduce you to Quora, and some of you may know this, some of you may not. Quora is a Q&A platform. That is it. It's all about Q&A. Search engines crawl Quora's content and add them to search results because people are asking questions that are similar, if not exactly the same, as they are on Bing, Google, and Quora. Your answers to topic relevant, keyword rich questions on Quora have a good chance of showing up in search results. So basically, Quora is people go there, they post questions. It's like a forum, or it could be just like a Facebook group where people ask questions, they get answers, things like that. And then here are some examples of questions that people ask. What are some reasons why rent is expensive in Westchester County? And, you can answer these questions. And then people, if you see the little arrows, people can upvote or downvote your answer. If you get a lot of upvotes, then you have a better chance of coming up in a Google search. If someone were to search on Google, what are some reasons why rent is expensive in Westchester County? And this is a question that has a lot of upvotes or a lot of engagement. You have a really good chance of coming up high in the Google search results on Bing. So it's a really valuable tool, not just for building relationships and highlighting your expertise on Quora, but also for being found from a Google search and also coming up with content ideas. I mean, what are some reasons why rent is expensive in Westchester County, New York? That is a blog post. That's a social media post. You can make a video on that. So you can get endless content ideas and you can search by your area and things like that. And it's a great way to find ideas for content. Okay. So it's not all about likes and all the vanity metrics. It's really about the community that you're building. So I want you to think about the last remarkable experience you had with a brand. What was it about that experience that really stood out to you? And how can you incorporate something like that maybe in your business? So here's something that happened on Twitter, and I love this. This is Southwest. This is before any recent issues they've had with flying. Someone reached out to Southwest on Twitter and said, "Help, my friend is in a wedding on Saturday in Costa Rica, but she left her bridesmaid dress here in Houston. Can we get her dress on flight 1734 tomorrow?" So Southwest Airlines responded, said, "All right, let's do it." And they turned this into an event. They got a picture of the girl bringing the dress to the airport. They contacted the local news. There's the guy in the news with the dress. Then Southwest tweeted many times, they're bringing people through that journey. The dress is officially en route to Costa Rica. And then the next tweet was, "Touching down soon. Our dispatchers added a special tag to this flight in their system. Hashtag rescue the dress." So people were using that and following this journey and cheering them on. And then this is them getting the dress. "Ladies and gentlemen, it has arrived. Operation Rescue the Dress complete." Now, Southwest didn't have to do anything except respond to Taylor and then put a dress on a flight that was heading to Costa Rica anyway. And then the person came to the airport to pick up the dress. But they turned it into this event. And here's the final picture. Yep, that was totally worth it. This is her wearing her bridesmaid dress. But then the best part is the people rallying around Southwest. "I love everything about this and more. Exceptional customer service. Sounds like the makings for a good commercial in the future. Nicely done, Southwest, on the customer service and saving the day. This is great. Bravo to Southwest and their excellent customer service." Like, this is mind blowing what's going on here. And it's so simple and didn't take a lot of effort. So think about what you can do to create an exceptional experience that can get your customers talking. Now, obviously, you don't have a plane, things like that, but there's lots you can do helping sellers and buyers in this transaction to really stand out. Quickly, let's talk about offline direct mail pieces. So we're going back to generalization versus being specific and compelling and standing out. This is ABC Realty's just sold card. Just says just sold. Call today to have us sell your home. ABC Realty, spacious, 2-bathroom, remodeled kitchen. I don't know about you, but I don't feel compelled to pick up the phone after seeing this. There's nothing here that provides value, right? So here's one of my just sold cards. You lead with an attention grabbing headline. Hartsdale homes are selling quickly. That piques my attention. Pique their curiosity. Sold for full asking price, which isn't really a big deal in the past few years. A lot of things sold for asking price and more. But it tells people that things are selling for their asking. Then I've got a picture of the house. I've got my picture. Since January 2019, homes within a 550 and 650K range and 1 mile of Two Woods Lane are selling for 97.76% of their asking price. The average days on the market was only 36. Current active inventory is only 12 homes. So I'm giving them a mini market report on the bottom here. I'm supporting my claim of Hartsdale homes are selling quickly. I'm not just throwing something out there to grab attention and then hoping they believe me. I'm proving it down here with actual statistics, which look impressive to somebody. Like, wow, there's only 12 homes on the market. Okay, cool. There's less competition. Maybe I can get my home on the market now. And then how quickly they're selling and things like that. We flip the card over and I educate them. Sellers often ask me how I determine a fair price for their home. I look for comparable homes that sold within the past 3 to 6 months as close to your home as possible. Notice how I said your home. I'm speaking to the people that are reading the card, more personalized experience. Then couple that data with the condition and size of your home to determine a range of value. I will provide you with my professional opinion so you can make a well-informed decision. I've educated them and completely taken the pressure off, letting them know I'm not going to push you to list at a certain price. I'm going to provide you with my expertise and data. You make the decision. And then I decide whether I want to work with you or not based on your decision. Proper pricing and impactful marketing are essential. Ask me how I use video, social media, professional photos, and digital ads to sell your home. That's my call to action. Now, would you call me or would you call ABC Realty? And we'll leave that out there. Remarkable experiences are your best marketing and sales strategy. All you need to do is provide an exceptional experience consistently, and you will get the results that you're looking for and more money. Okay, so um, people always ask me about the tools and things that I use. I've put a list of tools and things here for design and editing: Canva, InShot, Keynote, PowerPoint. I don't know if you know this, but you can use the PowerPoint presentation tool and the Keynote on Mac as a content creation tool as well. But I love Canva. I pay $100 a year for that, and it's incredible. It's essential for the non-designing designer. So keep that in mind if you're looking to experiment. Well worth the investment. And you can do so much with it. Some of my favorite books. Again, we go back to the psychology. This book will teach you how to write better by Neville Medora is $5 on Amazon. He's a copywriter, sold millions of dollars worth of products. And this book is 50 pages, and he teaches you how to write in a real personal way. Very simple to read. It's amazing. And then these other books are incredible. Some of them are based on how to be better writers for today's world. Some of them are about the psychology of persuasion. The Go Giver by Bob Burke. Every person in business needs to read this. It's simply about giving and getting. The Experience Maker, how to create an experience. Some video tools. All these video tools that I offer here are cheap. The mic is 20 bucks. The tripod is 20 bucks. The lighting is 50 to 100. The app I use is $3.99, and I used all of it in that About Me video that you guys saw. Business cards. I love moo.com. Little expensive, but your business card is essential. If you give people a cheap card, you know, when you watch people, when you give them a card and you've got something substantial to give them, they tend to rub their fingers on it. It's a touch point that is creating a memorable experience right when you hand it to them. So don't skimp on your business card. Another cool thing you can do with your business card, and I don't have a picture, is on Moo, the cards are beautiful. They're like a nice, you can get matte or glossy finish, nice thick cardstock. What I did was I took a beautiful photo of a beach in my local marketplace here in Maine. Really great shot. And I took it on my iPhone. And one side is that beautiful picture of the beach. On the other side is my contact info on my picture. The reason I did this is I wanted to create something that people were going to keep around. They're more likely to keep a little photo of a beautiful landscape than they are a picture of my smiling face on their refrigerator. So we want people to keep our business card around. So think about that when you're creating your card and how you can and make it interesting like that. Email signature, ystamp.com. I pay 75 bucks a year. I've got multiple emails, but your email signature is the business card for people who have not met you yet. So you want to make sure that it looks great. It's not just a paragraph of designations and words. It's got interactive buttons that people can click. Ystamp is great. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with it and brand it as well. And then link in bio on Instagram, you get one link in bio. And these are two great tools that I use, Tap Link. And when you click on the link in the bio, it opens up like a landing page and you can have multiple links in there. You can put a video, all sorts of cool stuff. Really, really good. And it just shows people that you care about every aspect of your business and it's cohesive and consistent everywhere they go. So that when you guys are sleeping at night and people are up at midnight on Zillow and searching the web for homes, you're comfortable with what they're going to find, right? So let's connect. I encourage you all to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can email me. If we don't get to your question today, or you're interested in doing a personalized webinar or something for your office or a group of people, please email me. I'm happy to talk about that. And I will respond to every single person because again, that's all part of the experience. And plus, I care and I want to. There's my cell phone number. So you feel free to keep that as well. And that concludes today's webinar. So we're going to open it up to Q&A. Um, Danielle, do you want to moderate that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Um, I don't have a question yet in the chat. I have allowed you to unmute, so if maybe you want to put your hand up with the little yellow hand too. Um, I do have a comment really fast that says, "Thank you. You're one of the very best speakers we've had."
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And then next question is, how do you deal with New York State and advertising?
So in terms of print advertising or digital advertising? So they have
Uh,
guidance.
I'm the
ki
one that
ki
asked that question. I unmuted myself if I can do that.
Yeah.
I find there's so many platforms or so many areas to go to get ideas for social media. But I also feel like New York State puts handcuffs on us, kind of, sort of. And you're licensed in New York, you
Yep.
sell in New York. And we talk about how it has to point from your page to the place for the Department of State, and everybody can find out who you are. And if they have a problem with you, they can turn you in. Are you following what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I find that challenging. I don't think that other states have that problem like we do. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, I mean, the best type of advice I can give there is to follow their guidance and just put out there what they require you to do. The problem with New York State and state organizations is they can be vague. And there's it's like here's the guidance, but then there's an exception to that guidance, an exception to that piece of the guidance and that part of the law. Um, so when it comes to advertising, you need to be transparent and you need to make sure people, are aware that you're represented by a brokerage, things like that. Always be transparent with that information, what brokerage you work for and things like that. Does that help?
It does. And maybe I overthink it, because I worry about, I feel like that's a personal thing that I feel that, we have to deal with in New York versus other states. Maybe I'm just throwing New York under the bus because I think they're a little more complicated than other states can be sometimes.
Right. Well, yeah, and we know that the state of New York can be complicated. Just look at, our closing process and many I mean, in Maine, it's simple. Our offers our contract. We work with an escrow company and we're done. New York, we have attorneys and it's a lot. So I would say as long as you read their guidance and you try to follow it to the best of your ability and you're not breaking any general laws or any policies from your brokerage, and posting anything that could get you into trouble, then I think you'll be fine. Like taking other people's listings or content or photos and all that kind of stuff. Just follow the law when it comes to that. Yeah, that's the best advice I can give with that. I know it's kind of vague, but
Thank you.
yeah,
Karen has a question. Her hand is raised.
Yeah, I'm curious on what you create on Canva. I personally love Canva, but
yeah.
I heard you say that you want things to be kind of more spur of the moment, less kind of cre- you know that creation that you kind of see with Canva. What is it that
Yeah.
you create on Canva?
So just if I want to create a graphic for something, or if I want to resize something, or if I'm creating a presentation, things like that. I mean, you can create a listing presentation on there if you wanted to,
Okay,
and customize it and things like that. So just a variety of things. I'll make enhancements to stuff.
okay,
I do find that graphics don't really perform well on social media.
okay,
So if you guys are sharing a listing, here's a great example. Rather than creating this graphic that's got 5 photos and colors and text all over it or whatever, just share like the 10 best photos and write a compelling description about it. And that's your social media post. You're using real photos and you're writing your description. So try to veer away from just posting templated stuff.
okay, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions?
Somebody asked what part of Maine I'm in. I am in
Oh,
Portland, Maine, which is like 45 minutes from New Hampshire. I'm sure most of you have heard of Portland, Maine.
mhm, absolutely. Anything else? We got time. I think everybody is ready to get on with their day. So,
Excellent.
for anybody that's still here, if there's no other questions or you can't think of anything, please make sure to sign out in the chat box so that I can go ahead and give you credit. And if you do think of any questions, Chris was nice enough to provide his information. So please utilize it, take it down, and we will see you all at the next Raising the Bar. So make your date on Valentine's Day. You have a date with GSAR now. Randy Templeman is going to talk to us about buyer agency
And how would the presentation today be shared?
in Hot News next week.
All right, thank you.
You're
You're
welcome,
welcome.
Martin. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know it's a lot of information, but when you get the PDF and if you watch the video back, it'll jog your memory, and just use it as a reference and start from the beginning, and you'll get there. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you so much, Chris, for being here. This was wonderful. I've gotten such good feedback in the chat already about this
So
presentation.
grateful.
People loved it.
Oh, thank you.
So we would love to do this again sometime for sure.
I would love to. Thank you, guys. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
You.
Thank you.
Bye
Oh, wait,
bye.
Dale has a question. Oh,
Yes,
never mind. Dale, Chris left, so
did
if
he?
you want to
Okay,
email me your question, I can email it to him.
no problem. Thank you, Jan. Great course. A lot of
Oh, you're
info,
very
ton of
welcome.
it.
What was that?
There's a lot of good information on that course.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will take that. And yeah, definitely email me your question and I'll make sure that Christopher gets it.
Yeah, it's easy. The PDF, when can we
Oh,
expect that on the course?
He's
Couple
gonna send
days?
that to me, I think after, and I will send it out to you.
Okay,
I will send it out to you as soon as I get it.
I
fine.
left
Thank you.
too soon. Were you going to ask me something?
Dale was gonna ask you something.
Oh,
Yes.
please. I'm glad I came back in.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Great. Chris, this is an easy question. For a video camera to get started, to do your own videos, what are you recommending?
What kind of phone do you have?
I got a
An iPhone?
Samsung.
Okay, so you have a Samsung. Okay.
Yeah,
So
relatively new.
most smartphones today have excellent cameras.
All right.
There are two apps that I recommend. One is iPhone only. It's called Pro Movie, but the other one is called Filmic Pro, and they will be in my tools section of my
Okay.
handout. You can use that, and it turns your cell phone into a professional video camera. Very easy to use.
Sure.
So you can use that. Or if you have a regular, video camera, like a DSLR camera, you can put it on a tripod and use that as well.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
just make sure
What?
the lighting is good and things like that.
Absolutely. Do you go after a certain sector of the population, like the baby boomers or the Gen Xers, or obviously when you build some type of content, I like to have a person in mind, such as somebody over the age of 55 looking for a second home, maybe selling their big house, big colonial, downsizing. Is that practical?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I mean, there's designation for that, and there's if that's your segment, then absolutely. But what's important is if you're using social media and you're using different avenues to reach them, they need to be where you are. So think
Sure.
about, if I want to reach those people, where would I find them? And that's understanding age groups and demographics that use these various platforms.
Sure. right next door, really.
Yeah.
Also, could you just quickly go over quorum? What was quorum?
Quora is a
Quora,
Q&A platform. It's a forum.
located where?
So Quora.com,
Quora.com.
Quora.com, and it's also an app on the phone as well.
Is there really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically just a Q&A platform where people ask questions in local areas, around the country, and
Uh-huh.
every topic you can imagine.
Huh.
And it's just a great way to get your wheels spinning for content ideas, maybe provide some valuable answers to people, things like that. And also,
Sure. Now, you were the first to mention groups dealing with moms.
Mhm.
Got to try that one.
Yeah, I mean, some may not let you in. I'm the group I'm in, the moms group I'm in. They allow dads in as well. My wife is part of it as well, but
Right.
it's incredible the referrals that go on in that group. I mean, from real estate agents to plumbers and things like that. But you wouldn't just walk into a party and say, "Hi, my name is Dave. Here's
Right.
30% off my stuff." You get to know people first, right? So you want to
Sure.
do that in groups. You want to be part of the group, part of the community. You don't want to oversell.
Walk in there, wave a flag right away.
Yeah, you don't want to go in with the sell. You want to go in with
Sure.
the relationship, and then the relationship brings the sale eventually. And maybe not. Maybe you just
Yeah.
get some great
Whatever.
friends.
Is that a Facebook group you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And look in your local area. I mean, you can join groups based on your interest. Maybe there's a traveling group, maybe there's a ski group, whatever there is.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
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 Great. Thanks again.
Oh, you're very welcome.